So I just got finished listening to what the Pope was saying, but I want to give a little bit of a history about myself. I am a person of a religion background. I do believe in God, and I believe there is a higher power. I do believe when we do die and stuff like that, that the real truth is going to be out. I do believe there's a heaven, and I do believe there's a hell. I believe there will be a hell for those who ain't properly got their soul clean, and I believe there will be a heaven once your soul is purified. You go live with God forever and ever. I do believe that. I strongly believe that. And when I say I'm a religion person, but not religion, when I say I am a spiritual person, more mainly, I'm not really heavily in religion. I don't believe in the rules and regulations and practice every single rule and everything because that's not necessary. That's control. I believe in the spiritual journey of finding your way to get closer to the spirit of God and the spirit of Jesus and the spirit of life. That's what I really strongly believe. I don't think it's necessary to have all of them rules and restrictions to the point that you feel like that you're in some type of mental prison. I've been down that road. That's not the way it works. I believe also that it's important to have some type of hope, while you're here on this earth, because when you're talking about death, it's a very confusing thing, just like birth is. We know that we came here, but we don't know exactly where we came from, and we don't know whether or not our life is the end once it's over with. We just hope that we mean more than just what we see in our eyes. And in my honest belief, I think the answer to that question is more confusing than necessary. But if you ask me about the question, I said, take the scientific approach. The brain houses everything about you. The brain is you. And once the brain goes, so do you. That's why you never ever can recall anything or remember anything. Yeah, it's possible that you could be the only creation of yourself, but I don't think personally that the dead would ever come back again. That's just the truth. So we go back to what I was saying. I would listen to the Pope. And like I said, I hardly ever listen to him. I hardly listen to any message from any type of religion figure. But something that he was saying was starting to get to me because I heard this saying multiple times. And I heard this from not only from the Pope, but I had heard this way before I just heard it from the Pope, the one who got in office. It's probably been said a lot about the America and the way that the vision was that he was given and how he was presenting it really began to make sense a little bit, because if you put what he was saying into actually term, you can see that there's some truth behind it. Now, it may be in the Pope way of warning America about where they're going in the future, but the way that he said this stuff is like, I just can't believe what I was hearing, because it sounds just like America that we was in. So he talks about, and I'm giving you the short version. If you want to know more, just look him up. Leo, I forgot what number he is. Leo Roman numeral XIV, and look him up, and it would say the warning about Trump and America. But what I'm going to say is this. He keeps mentioning how Trump, the president, is a person that is a warning to America, and how Trump is exposing America for who she is, and that's how he referred America as a nation. But one metaphor that stuck out of everything was the eagle. He gave many different versions of it. One was the eagle was rising and soaring above the cities, and America was doing fine and having a great profit, having a great life, because they heed the warning of God and turned from the wicked ways. The second warning was when America didn't listen to what was said and fell into financial ruins and things like that. And then the third one was similar to that, where the eagle is basically dead and America is sitting up here attacking itself. Another warning that got to me when I was listening to it was how he said that the enemy wouldn't have to worry about attacking America because America will do it, will attack itself. That right there stood out more than ever. And he said because of the warning is not given and people is not turning away from their wicked ways. And I will go into what wicked ways mean because I have a different approach of that. It's not quite what you think. But because I have a different approach than what the religion would say. It said America, because they won't turn away from their wicked ways, they will basically tear their country down itself. And you can see this right now. America is fighting among itself, you know. America is creating its own violence and terrible things. And you look at the recent incidents that happen and you look at what is going on, the homegrown terrorists and things like that. We're not being attacked by foreign countries. We are doing this ourselves. We have these terror groups that basically forming up. I'll call them terror group, hate groups, whatever you want to call them. It's groups who just don't understand, or probably just basic people who have a mental orders who haven't been adjusted or addressed to, however you put it. You have a lot of issues that is going on in America, and you have these violent acts that is taking place in America as we are speaking. And these violent acts are so bad that you see it. Mass shootings, political attacks, hate crimes, corruption in the government. If you look at what's going on, it's all beginning to make sense a little bit. This is something that Revelation also be mentioned of too. They will be crying peace, peace, and right now you hearing peace, peace, and there is no peace. You hear rumors of war and wars about. There is wars and rumors of wars. You will see men lover of their self. That's what you see. Mothers against daughters, daughters against mother, fathers against sons, and sons against fathers. We are seeing that. We are seeing stuff that back in the late 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and even the early 90s, and the early 2000s will be unheard of. You know, you wouldn't even think that we would ever do that, because you would say to yourself, we're not going to be the ones that's going to do that. I mean, we had values. We understood. We had respect among each other. Even about like the first time that Trump got in office, we as an American people still kind of had respect. Yeah, there was division going on, and yeah, there was things going on, but we still had respect. But now American people has, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of American people has lost that respect. It's hard to really live in America without fearing, would this be your own lives? You know, I remember a while back, and maybe like even 6 years or 7 years ago, the only thing I was fearing is natural cause of death. Now, you wonder if you walk out the door, would that be it? Because of the tensions that is going on. And this is another thing I want to say too. You have to understand that the feeling that you are feeling, or the feeling that I'm feeling, the feeling that we're feeling, this is not happening everywhere in America. Not every single town and city is dangerous. I live in a small town here in North Carolina, Greensboro. I live on the side of Greensboro that was considered to be at one time the worst place that you could be at. You know, anytime you was on the east side, west side, south side, or wherever side you was on, it was considered to be bad. But I'm on the east side. This is used to be the side of town that people would say, don't go over there. I'm over here. You know, I'm not that far from Willow Road, the Grove, and people in Greensboro know what I'm talking about. You know, that cluster of areas that people would say was bad. But we had our share. We had the Willow Road. We had the Grove when it was there. Now it's not there no more. It's just called Willard Road. Then we had Smith Homes, and then we had Morningside. They were the areas that you knew not to go. All public housing, they said not to go to. Now, you can walk over there now and nothing bad's going to happen like it used to was. But I'm saying that sometimes what looks like it's horrible isn't quite like that. It may just seem like that, but I got off track. I'm sorry. Let me get back on track. So, listening to what the Pope was saying and listen to the warning that he was giving and how he was basically saying that the decisions that Trump is making and the decision that American people is allowing, like Congress, right? Congress has become non-existent. The Supreme Court is so corrupt that it doesn't make sense. All right? We as an American people, we see some of this stuff happening. We see how corrupt the system is and how the system is basically non-workable almost. Unless you are a certain individuals, then it works fine. But if you're not, this is something that America has been going through for a while. But the warning of watch what you're doing, be careful not to give in to the violence, the hate, the division. Something that I've also been telling people, we need to stop the hate. We need to stop the violence. We need to learn how to love and care for each other like we used to. This is not America. This is not what America is. This is not a country where you can't even talk about something without somebody almost ready to shoot you. You can't even smile at somebody without they wanting to shoot you. My goodness. Only thing you did is smile at them. What did that deserve any type? How is that hostile? Any holding the door get you cussed out sometimes. I don't need you to hold the door with me. Oh, well, excuse me. The best thing to do in situations that we are facing and the situation that we are going through, and you're dealing with these people, is ignore it. I grew up in the 80s. I'm in the 90s. We had respect. We were taught to respect your elders, and we were taught to honor those who was older than you are. I don't know what you would call this today, people. It's kind of hard to really keep the golden values when a lot of people don't believe in the golden values. But back to it, Then the one thing that he was saying is about how America was like a tree planted in the ground, and how the vision shows America withering up, and one vision shows America doing just fine. All about the decisions that it's being made as we are speaking. People of America, people around the world, you have to remember something about a nation. The nation is only as strong as the people. Not the people who rule it, not the people who are in control. The people who live in it is the ones who make the nation. If they are weak, then the nation will be weak. If they are strong, then the nation is strong. We as America, the last time I checked, we, the people, is the ones that's in control. We must take back our power in a peaceful way. We must put the right people in office. We must remove the corruption and remove the corrupt individuals. Now, I'm not saying this by a long shot. Politics is tricky. Don't matter how you put it. You could think you're putting the right person in there, and it could be just what we got right now. So politics are tricky. But what we need to do as an American right now is heal. We need healing. We need to get back to what was America. As much as I hate some of this stuff, but what was America? We was a country that believed that everyone deserved a chance at a prosperous life. We believe you came to America, you can make it. You can be something. Now coming to America is more like, don't come here, you know. But the warning is pretty much there. One other warning that the Pope was given is about the hands of about this clock. Not a physical clock by nature, but a clock of protection and warning. How God mercy can last forever, but his patience, just like us, is different. Of course, somebody can be merciful for a while, but eventually they get tired of just showing you mercy and you turn around and just pretty much sticking your behind up in their face and say, kiss it. Eventually they would get fed up with that, and then they will no longer want to show mercy anymore. And I think we are reaching to that point where God is finally getting fed up with everything that we as the that we've been doing, and he's really getting tired of it. And eventually things is going to happen to shake America. I keep saying this. Something is not right. Something just don't feel right. You know, it just don't feel right. You got all this division going on and everything going on. It just don't feel right towards me. And you know, it just don't. And I will go with that. So that's all I want to say right quick. This video kind of was rushed a little bit. I'm going to make another video after a full video on my thoughts on America, because it's crazy what we are going through as an American country. It's crazy, but I did want to give a brief about it. Now, once again, if you want to hear what the Pope had to say, because I didn't really give all of the things that he said, Pope Leo, Roman numeral X, Roman numeral I, Roman numeral 5. I do not know how to read that. I don't know that's 15 or 16 or 14. I don't know what number that is. Shocking warning to Donald Trump in America. Just look it up on YouTube and listen to what he says. You don't have to be religion, you know. You can ignore the religion parts, you know. But listen to the warning that said. And then compare what's going on right now. The corruption, the hatred, the homegrown terrorists. Just look at that, and you will understand what type of time frame and in. And you know, I would say this too. You don't have to be religion to read a religion text to get something out of it, or a historical text to get something out of it. You don't have to believe anything. But sometimes these religion texts is a reminder of the past, of what people was dealing with then and what we are dealing with now. So take time out to really see what the warnings that the ancients was giving us and what we are really dealing with now. Because in general sense, humans don't really learn from their mistakes. We keep on repeating history as we are speaking. Okay, that's all I have to say for today. Chat with you later.